Thanks for joining us tonight for a sunflower journal. We are here tonight with Laura Barto from Stampin' Up, and we are just delighted that you're joining us tonight to do this great craft along with the video. Laura has been a top leader with Stampin' Up for 18 years. She is passionate not only about paper crafting, but inspiring and training her team to share these amazing products as well. Laura has been sharing her creative classes here at the library over the past few years and is excited to offer yet another craft in this fun virtual format, and we are figuring it out. Tonight we are designing, she designed for us a beautiful sunflower journal for you to make along with her tonight using exciting new products from Stampin' Up. So thank you so much for being with us here tonight. Laura, I don't know if you want to say a few things before we start the video.
Well, I'm just so excited to see you all and have you all tune in. And I am passionate about this, and I hope that you have lots of questions after the video, and I'll be glad to answer them. So I think we should go ahead and get started.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and start the video.
Hi, I'm Laura Barto from Studio One Stampers, and I want to welcome you to my summer sunflower class. First of all, I want to tell you a little bit about who I am. I'm a Stampin' Up demonstrator. I've been with Stampin' Up as my company for 17 years. I absolutely love sharing paper crafting, stamping, and all kinds of things. I have an amazing catalog full of tons and tons of product. This is an annual catalog that we have, and it just came out this summer in June. So everything that you're seeing is from this catalog. Well, let me show you what the project looks like. So first of all, it's a journal, and you can see there's a beautiful sunflower on the front. And what says summer more than sunflowers? But as you open up the journal, you have a little bit more to see. You've got a little bit of a word that says inspire, so that can inspire your summer thoughts. And when you open it up again, you'll also know there's a secret spot right here to tuck away some of your treasures. So I can't wait to show you details on how to make this project. Well, here's a close-up of what the final project will look like. You can see we've got a beautiful sunflower on the front, and we've got leaves and some textured pieces here. This opens up, and inside here is a designer paper, and this is a pocket where you can actually store some things in there. And then here's a little panel to inspire you, and then it opens up to your tablet where you can put down all those sweet summer thoughts. All right, well, let's look at what you have as far as your kit and organize that. So you should have pieces that look something like this. Some of your papers might have different patterns on that, and that's fine because they flip over and you can use whatever side you like. So you should have your big piece here, which will be the piece for your cover for your journal. You should have a folded white piece and 5 little 1-inch strips that are textured. You should have 2 layers for a sunflower, a background, and a die-cut piece, and the same thing for 2 pieces with your leaves. You should also have a legal pad, a junior legal pad, and a strip that goes on the top up here. A couple of things that you're going to need to finish this project are some type of a glue. I really like this particular liquid glue. It works fabulously and holds really, really well, and it's just a fabulous product, so that's what I recommend. You'll also need something in order to make to fold your cards, your cardstock, and this is a bone folder. If you don't have a bone folder, you can grab a smooth spoon that you can use to fold there. And you might also want a toothpick. That's so that you can just put the glue in some very small places so that you don't get glue in places where you don't want glue, and then have your project sticky. So let's get started with a couple of things, and I'll explain to you as I go along where some of these things come from. So the first thing I want you to do is lay out your project, your products, your pieces. Hopefully you have all the things that you see here. And we're going to start attaching some things to each other. So the first thing I want to do is just to have you find this printed strip. It's got something on there, maybe some words or dots or flowers or something, but it's about 3/4 of an inch by 5 inches. And that's going to go on the top of this pad. So I want you to find some glue and just put a small amount of glue, whatever kind of glue you have, just a very small amount. And we're going to attach that to the front of this legal pad. So just like that. And these pads are available at any of the office supply stores or wherever you find them. They're called junior legal pads, and they come in yellow, they come in white. I wanted white for this project just because there's white in this beautiful designer paper. All right, so hopefully you've got that piece on there, and we'll set that aside so that's ready to go. The next thing I want to do is talk about gluing some of these pieces together and what you'll do with a toothpick. These pieces are some die cut pieces that I did on a die cut machine, and I'll talk about that in a minute, but I want you to start going ahead to glue. Now if you don't have a really fine tip glue like this where you can just put teeny tiny bits of glue around the edge like I'm doing, you might want to go ahead and put a dot of glue onto a piece of paper like this, and then use a toothpick to go and add to each of these little tips. It's important not to build up too much glue because it will ooze out, and so I'm just going to go around this whole thing and add this glue on here like this. This is a beautiful sunflower piece. I just love how the detail of all this goes. I'm going to add a little bit of glue in the center here so this holds onto my piece. So there we go. Now it's going to be important for you to know where this piece goes, and I'm kind of holding it. So if you look at your sunflower and you see there's two little pieces here that are the smallest little pieces that are kind of at an angle, and those go right along here to the other piece that goes there. So you can just go ahead and glue that on and just hold that in place until it sets. And kind of put a little bit down in the center as well. And hopefully that will turn this into a solid piece. So once you've finished that one, you can go ahead and do the same thing on your leaves. And you'll want to do a little bit of all around the edge here. And you don't have to get every single little spot. This will hold pretty well. Maybe down the center of the leaf. And then match that up and get it on there like that. All right, so there's one leaf. And I'll get my second leaf done. This toothpick really works very, very well. It'll spread almost any kind of glue, and just make sure it's very, very thin. It still will hold really well, I think. So we'll do that, and again, glue that down. There we go. So we have those pieces glued together. While you're still maybe working on some gluing, I want to show you a little bit about where these things come from. So the sunflower is a stamp set and die combination. I have not used the stamp set in this project, but it's available. So this is a Celebrate Sunflowers. And then here are the dies that match this collection. And you can see that this sunflower will cut out this shape perfectly. And this is the other piece that we did there. And this one would cut out this die, this piece right there beautifully. And again with the leaves and some extra little cute foliage pieces and a little centerpiece with detail to go in the center. So these are sold in a combination, and when they're combined and bought in the same time, there's a 10% discount that you can get. So keep that in mind. So this is Celebrate Sunflower, and these are the matching sunflower dies. All right, well, hopefully you have all of these leaves glued together. And let's see, I must have gotten that on the back of one of these. Did I do that? Yes, my leaf's stuck on there. That's okay. So there we go. So you've got that done and you've got that done. Now it's time to glue this little round brown piece in the center. So you want to just put some glue around the edges of that and get that just put down in the center. And now the sunflower is ready to go. All right. So the next thing I want to do is I want to put together the front of the journal. And what I've done for you is I've provided you with 5 different pieces that all are going to go onto this folded piece of white cardstock. Now, what's really important is that the fold is going to be over here on your right. Now, that's exactly the opposite of how a greeting card would be made, but that's what we need to do for this particular project. So the first thing to do would be to figure out where you want your pieces, like what arrangement you want, where you want them to be, how you like them. I like them the way my sample was, so I'm going to do that the same. And so I'm going to start by putting glue on the bottom one and the top one first, and sticking those on so that they are about 1/8 of an inch from the bottom and the sides. You can see how it's the same there and at the bottom. And then I'm going to put this one on the top to do the same thing. Again, not too much glue, and put that on the top. All right, so those 2 pieces are kind of my bookends. Now the other 3 pieces need to be centered in the space that's left over. And what you can do is just get them where you want them to be and pick one up and put it down in the empty space like that. Then pick up the next one and put that down in the empty space. And then the last one and can go down in the empty space as well. And then they should be pretty evenly spaced. The nice thing about this glue is you have a moment to move them around. So if I wanted to reposition one, maybe move this up a tiny bit, I still can move that a little bit. And that looks good to me. I think that looks really nice. So we have that all set. The fold is on the right, and you've got all these embossed pieces there. So let me tell you a little bit about those embossed pieces. Those embossed pieces started out just as strips of cardstock, and then I put them into a variety of embossing folders. So here's the 3 different ones that I used for this project. And I just open the embossing folder up. I decide where I want that to go in there, preferably straight. It always looks a little bit better if there's a pattern. And then send it through a die cutting machine between the 2 plates. So this one is the Little Details die. This one is the Meadow Moments die. And this one is the Ornate Floral die. So those are the 3 dies that I used to make this project. All right. So now we have those pieces set. I think that looks good. So let's move on to the next part of our project. Let's get this piece ready. This piece is, remember, that's going to be on the inside here, right there. So we need to go ahead and find the piece that is going to go at the bottom here. And it might have a different pattern to it, so that's okay. And I'll go ahead and add a little bit of glue on here. And just put this piece at the bottom of the white. And then for this word inspire, you may or may not have been able to find your little dots that were in your kit, and that's okay. If you have them, you can use them. If you don't have them, then you can just use a pen to dot your eyes. So that's not a problem. And again, I'm using just a little bit of glue on these little spots, and this just works out so well. All right. Now I'm not going to be able to move this around, so I have to really position this correctly. I get one chance to really put this down, so I want to make sure it's straight. So I'm going to hold it up here, up in the air a little bit, and say, I think that looks good to me, and just go ahead and put that down. Now if you're using a pen, you just want to draw on your little dots right now, or if you're using the dots that are there, you can just go ahead and put a tiny dot of glue right above each of those things, and hopefully get that little dot on top of that glue. That's probably the hardest thing that we're doing today, is just getting those little dots on top of that glue, but that's okay. Drawing them on is probably easier, but there we go. All right, so we're looking pretty good here. We have a lot of things ready. We've got our all of our strips put onto here. Our sunflower is ready. Our leaves are ready, and our Inspire banner is ready to go as well. The next thing I want to show you is how I made the folder that all of this goes into. And I'm going to set all of these things aside and show you how I did the scoring on this. So this is a stamping score, Stampin' Up scoring machine or whatever, and I have it labeled, and here I can give you the numbers. The piece of cardstock is 8 by 11, so it started out at 8.5 by 11, so I cut a 1/2 inch off the long side. And what's wonderful about this is the scoring tool comes right in this little trough, always ready for you to use, because it's stored right there. So I'm going to go ahead and score straight down, and this is the one at 2 3/4. This is the one at 3 inches. This is the one at 8 1/8, and this is the one at 8 3/8. Okay, so look how easy that was. I did all those scores instantly. And now what I want to do is I want to go ahead and make sure that I score these. Now your project is already scored for you, so you don't have to do that. But I want to go ahead and make certain that when the side that I scored on, the side that has the indent, that's going to be the side that's on the outside of your project. So I'm going to fold all of these in toward the inside of the project. So get out a bone folder, and if you don't have a bone folder, you could find a spoon. That would be a nice thing to use. And then we'll do the next fold here, and you'll have to be a little bit careful so that you get that nice and straight. Don't go crooked, and that's ready to go. And we'll fold this way as well. And then we'll do the same thing on the other side. We'll do the main score here first, and then the little score here. Just kind of see, I'm kind of putting my fingernails in here to kind of make certain that it knows where to go, and make certain that it's straight. Okay, that looks great. Okay, so now I have that scored. So what that's done for me is it's given me sides. So I have little sides here, so that when we close this up, the pad folds nicely in there. All right, so we're ready to go. So now I think we're ready to put together our project. It doesn't matter which side goes over top of the other, so we'll just go ahead and do that. You want to go ahead and add lots of glue to the back of this piece. This is heavy, so you want to make sure you add lots of glue. And that's going to be positioned right in the center between those score lines. And you can even kind of practice and pull this up and make sure that it's in there. And push that down nicely, and so now your pad is centered inside there. We're going to go back to some of the other pieces that we had. And so here's this piece that we did with the embossed pieces on there. Let's go ahead and put those sunflowers on now. We'll take the large sunflower, and it doesn't matter whatever direction you want to put it in. It can go there, and a couple of these little leaves will just tuck under there. So decide where you want that, and then pick that up. And you'll want to do quite a bit of glue on the outside of this, because you don't want it to pick up for something to grab that. So that's going to go there. And then these, we're just going to slide these underneath as well. So glue that together, slide that under there. And this one, we'll put some glue on here as well, and slide this one under here. Beautiful little sunflowers. I just love how this looks. Just a stunning, stunning piece. So now that you have that done, you should be able to open this up so it opens up the wrong way for a greeting card. And that's important for us right now. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put this on the front of this flap. But you can see that it's important that we don't glue the flap closed. So let's talk about where we're going to put the glue here. So I'm going to position this right here. So the glue is going to go only on this side right here. Okay? So let's do that right now. Just put the glue only there, there, and there. Okay? And we could do a little bit right there. That's all we're going to do, so that this piece folds down. It should be centered on either side, and you can hold that down. It should be just glued to this left panel, and you can kind of check and see if this lifts up, and this should still be free right now. Okay? So make sure you have that glued right on there like that. Okay? Now we're going to open this up, and we're going to find that piece of designer paper. If yours has words on it, make sure that your words are right side up so you can read them. Or if you prefer polka dots or flowers or whatever it is you have on your particular kit, we'll go ahead and do that. Then remember to glue whichever side you decide on. Remember to glue the other side. So I'm going to choose to have my words. So I'm going to flip this over and put the glue on the polka dots. And again, I don't need to use a lot, just a little bit. And that's going to go on here. All right. So we have that so far. But now this, you can see this is still opening. That is actually going to be a pocket. That's our secret pocket to put things in. So when we have a secret pocket, we know that this has to have no glue right here. So we'll just do some glue. The glue can only be along the top, right here and right there. So that's where I'm going to put my glue. And this is my pocket. So straight across the top and straight across the bottom. And no glue anywhere else. I don't need any glue. So we're going to go ahead and close that. Now what I like to do is give a little pinch. You see how I've made a little bit more space there? That way I can fit something in there. If I've got something I want to get in there, it won't be too tight to fit. So it's going to go like that. All right. Hopefully you've got that far. And then we just have one more piece to do. And remember, we got this all ready to go, this word inspire. And that's going to be centered on this particular flap. But when we do our gluing, we have to remember that the glue is only going to go behind here. So I'm just going to flip this over and remember that the glue will be just behind there. Okay, so I only have it on that portion. And that's going to be centered along here, kind of centered on this piece here, and centered along my panel. And it's going to sit right there. I even have kind of lines on my paper to help me get it straight, so I really like that. So here we are. So that's in place now. And so here we have our project. There's your pad to write all those wonderful, fun summer thoughts on. The word inspire to remind you to write fun things. And then this beautiful sunflower to remind you of summer days. Well, I hope you're enjoying this and you have a lot of fun making this project.